Yeah, hi. Cyrus says, or rather, cock and bull. I'm going to talk like this for a while because I haven't visited Delhi for a long time, or Gurgaon, and I feel more comfortable talking like this when I reach there. ऐसा मुंह खोल के मैं बात करते हैं, कम कम मुंह खोल के बात करते हैं मैं. So I want to get back into that rhythm, and so I'll be doing this for a little while. Please don't pay too much attention or heed to it. But it's Monday morning, and Monday morning is all about words and dictionaries and testing the metal of some of the greats of our time. 98.6% in his ICSE or SSE or CBSE exam. I can't remember, Amit. And Silvery, 13 schools, which tells you they haven't been able to make a blunt or a
Yep.
mark in terms of education. But he's there fighting still. Okay, I'm going to give you two words. One is a easy setup, and then I'll go for the kill. So I'll give you something
Okay.
which is so easy, you'll just, you'll laugh. Okay, so can either you tell me what? And these are the words that now the whole game has changed, where they introduce words from, let's say, African American speak, Chinese American
Hmm.
speak, Indian English speak. So each subculture has its own sort of lexicon, and those words get accepted. Like we had
Yeah.
Jagannath became Juggernaut and Pandit, etc. from our side. But this is a word
Bungalow.
which comes bungalow. This is a word which comes more from the Afro-Carib experience in UK, and the word is zaddy. Zaddy. What
Isn't
does it
that
mean?
isn't that Naveen's thing? The like sexy daddy.
Yeah, okay, you're close. You're close. So you get it's an Idris Elba is the best example of it. It's a
Okay.
charismatic elderly daddy figure who's
Didn't
still
we have
sexy and
didn't we have
sorry.
like a 5 minute conversation with Naveen, or you guys had a 5 minute conversation on Zaddies when Naveen Abbas and Malvika were on?
We'll have to go back and check. I've got Alzheimer's,
Um,
so I can't even remember the last
okay.
episode. Forget that one. But so that was just a setup. Silver, you failed by the way. You made no dent on this, and your hand
Yeah,
is
I mean,
suddenly come into
Amit got
frame.
it right. I was like, that seemed close enough to me.
What was that hand that came into frame in the middle? Now I'm feeling spooked.
That's my
Like,
mother who is now
oh,
crashing into my camera and
Hi.
okay, that's my mother saying hi.
Hello.
Okay, stop.
no, she must, because there'll be people watching on suddenly, the
Yeah, yeah.
dimensions were wrong. It was coming from forward in front of your face. Okay, here's the big word. Now, please don't write letters to us or email us. I'm not trying to, make light of something which is horrible. But the word is rape. But listen, I want the noun. So don't jump. Okay, it's a noun. Rape the noun. Okay, not rape the noun, but it's a noun. Rape. So not as you know it, which is the horrible experience, display of brutal power and savagery. Not that. This is a noun. I like when we're looking out of the window, Silver, you're not going to get the answer. Amit, by
Uh,
having that fixated look like the thinker, I mean, what are you guys doing? I hate this
uh,
body language.
Noun
Do you
is
have the answer?
rapist. Rapist is the noun.
No, no,
No,
he's saying the
Baba.
word rape
The
has
word
a
rape,
noun form.
it has a
Is
noun
a
form.
noun
Exactly
form.
that. It has a historical noun form. It's not used really because
I do not know.
oh my
I
god. Now
Is
let
it
me
like
gloat. Now let me enjoy this.
yeah?
What's the hurry? We have nothing to talk about anyway. Let's just have a few moments here. Let me just scratch a little bit. I like the way Sylvain looked out of the window. That was so scholastic. You're a hard thinker. You guys looking out windows, looking straight, trying to get the thought into you. You have no bloody clue. You lying frauds.
No idea.
There's no human being alive who knows this. Okay, it's a tough one. It's six ancient divisions of Sussex, the county Sussex, which are collectively called rape
Okay.
for some reason. Many, many years ago, this is medieval times, almost King Arthur times, even before that. So you learned something new today. I don't know about Zaddy
Yeah.
being a repeat or not. We'll have to find
Mm.
out. Or a Zaddy can also be someone who's a father, fairly attractive, but having Alzheimer's, which would be the reason why we couldn't remember it. So Zaddy and rape the noun. Now let's move on to our show with Silvery. Silvery,
Yes.
look at Amit's face. Amit, don't make that face. You're ditching the ship while we're sinking here. You're going to America tomorrow
I'm
night.
just
Your
I
India is
I
suffering.
I yes I am.
I've changed Mumbai's name, by the way, to 4 baje band baje, because I think since we shut at 4 p.m., there's no point having this name Mumbai. We should have a name which symbolizes who we are. 4 baje band baje. It was also a radio show we used to do. Because there's
Wasn't didn't weekends open up a little bit last weekend,
no,
or did that not
no,
happen?
nothing,
No.
nothing, no weekend open. Friday evening,
Oh
you're
shit.
supposed to stay at home and play with yourself, as you
Okay.
do on Thursday evening and Wednesday evening and Tuesday evening
Tuesday
and
evening.
every other
Okay.
evening. So
But I
the
thought
weekends
like
have not
basic.
changed.
I had
This
a
happened. Yeah.
interesting. Yes, right now. No, I had an interesting experience. I forgot that you're not allowed, like, weekends, everything is
Me
shut,
too.
right? So
Me too.
I went out and I met somebody, and we're like,
And the
oh,
restaurant wasn't
weekend.
there. Yeah.
The restaurant, yeah. So basically, so I met him at a hotel because I was like,
Yeah.
this, because we'll just go to the hotel and eat something or have a cup of
Yeah.
coffee and talk or something like that. Go to the hotel. They're like, no, we cannot serve you anything. So then we're like, okay, from the hotel, we then were like, we still did not connect that it's because of the weekend, right? We're just like, oh, the hotel is not serving right now. So then we're like, okay, we'll go to a Starbucks. There's a Starbucks close by. We went to the Starbucks. Starbucks would not let us sit there. Like, here, take your coffee and go, right?
Yeah.
And then we realized, okay,
Mm.
oh, okay, we're not allowed to. So then we had to come home and sit.
There are so many words which aren't allowed now. Speaking of words, the setup of this show in Mumbai, for example, words like unlock, key,
Mhm.
freedom, dinner, evening, PM, nocturnal, nightlife, dancing, drinking, all that's gone. Those words can't be used. They're extinct now.
Yeah,
They're like the Parsis on the way
So
out. There's nothing we can do. We're trying to stop
for
it.
now,
this
for now,
Silver,
for
you're
now.
dying
this
to get
happened to
in.
me like, yeah, this happened to me
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2 weeks back. I thought at night on the weekends movement was still allowed. Like you could still move around if you wanted a little bit. Like you could go to your friend's place or something. So I'd gone to my friend's place around 8 in the evening, and we're coming back around 1 o'clock at night from Bandra to Powai. Okay, and on the way, like some cops in Bandra stop us and start making like a big thing about why are you traveling on a weekend, and now we need to confiscate your car. So this, so
But
basically,
who?
I
Tell
think
them to
the
pay for the
cops
petrol.
tried.
You should have said, take it, pay for the petrol, and come back. Amit is taking a
But
call.
are they allowed to confiscate your car? That's a question I
Of
have.
course
I don't
not. They're
think.
just being bullies. They're just
Yeah, they're
doing
being
what they
bullies
want
because
because
then they
nobody.
started this. So then they asked me, "Can you read Marathi?" I said, "No, sir, I cannot read Marathi." They took out a printed
Nope.
sheet of paper with some Marathi, like some rules on it, was written in
Bro, you
Marathi, which
can
I couldn't
Google
even read.
Translate the Marathi now. You should just take a screenshot and send it
Yeah,
to
I
your
mean, you
friends.
can't
And
do that in front of cops and all. So I told them,
you
"Sir,
tell
I'm
them, no,
not
you have a
signing this if I don't
technology.
know what it is."
Languages
Hmm.
in Japan, if you're in Tokyo in the Olympics, in 2 minutes you can have a
Yeah,
conversation because of Google
no, no.
Translate and things like
I
that. So
I told him,
no,
I
they
told him
can't
all
bully you. I'm
things
saying
like
by using
there were
language.
four cops. There was one of me. What am I gonna do?
You alone.
They'll hold collars and all, man. They're Bombay
That's the
cops.
problem is
You don't know.
they continue with this
Yeah,
bullying because nothing is clear. The same thing we had with the
yeah,
dog thing and all about taking the kids in, walking
Hmm.
dogs and all that. They just do it. It's just arbid. This 144 has gone to everybody's head that we can just do what we want. So they just tend to bully
yeah.
you and do what they want.
That's
But
exactly what it is. Yeah.
it's just your bad luck because they've been in South Bombay. They've been a little flexible. They've not really been doing anything. I think they're tired.
Yeah, sorry, I got a
Like you
couple of
went
calls in
out.
the middle.
You
Uh,
went out. Amit, you were
I
saying you
went
went
out.
out
I've been out
and
quite a bit.
yeah,
I've gone to
you
people's
couldn't get
houses and stuff
food,
like
but
that in
you
the
moved
night.
around in the
Yeah.
night. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, no, no. So this was actually in the morning. This was early morning, but I've gone to people's houses in the night.
What are you, a Dudwala? What are you doing
Yeah,
early
exactly.
morning?
It's allowed. You're allowed. I think it's
Uh-huh.
allowed now, right?
So no,
No,
no.
what are you
This
Because
was
I
delivering
got
I
caught.
mail?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
my meeting
What
was
is
in the
early morning?
morning. So it
Uh,
was like 9 o'clock on Sunday. So I mean, like that
that's
for me is early.
that's
Dude,
absolutely
nine
fine. They won't
o'clock
bother you at
on a
9.
Sunday is morning, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Nine
but nine
o'clock on
o'clock
a
on a
Sunday
Sunday they
is
won't bother
morning.
you. I thought like 5, 6 in the morning for some
No, no,
reason.
but I have
Oh,
gone out quite a bit. I've been to people's houses and stuff like that in the evening. I went to somebody's house for. I've been out. It's not.
but please understand if they want to confiscate your car, Silvery, coming back to that, let them take it now.
Yeah.
$108 on the liter. Where's he going to? You should go with a very empty tank. You should do what the hell you
I mean, but
want.
how do I go back home?
Doesn't
I
matter
have
be
to go
cheaper
back
for
home.
you to
It's
go
one
back home
o'clock
by
at night.
public transport or even by
At one
whatever.
o'clock at
Ask
night.
them,
No,
ask them to
no, I
drop
don't think.
you. They मेरे को drop करके गाड़ी ले लो. Because
नहीं वो
I
नहीं
think
करेंगे यार.
it's horrendous this rise in gas and petrol. Yeah, there's too much of this police bullying. It's not going to stop. The only way for it to stop
And then
is
they,
for
dude, I had to pay them. I had to pay them $800
why?
for
Where's
no
the
reason.
receipt? Where's the
For,
receipt?
there is, dude. Then so they gave me like a Marathi sheet of paper that I couldn't read. Okay, I told them, sir, I have never
Probably
even
some
heard of this rule.
elitist North Indian
I said,
Marathi sheet of paper.
yeah, yeah.
Paper in Marathi. Marathi sheet of paper.
Like no, it was like it was like
Huh,
some supposedly legal document that they had in front of them that they make people sign, which I
huh.
could not read. So I asked them, sir, at least show this to me online somewhere that this is a rule, because I have no idea that this is a rule, and I
So
thought
what
this
is
is
the
this, this is
what is
fine
the precise rule they caught you
They
for?
for
for
roaming
loitering
around
in
at
during lockdown
loitering.
weekend,
Yeah,
full
they said,
lockdown weekend,
why are
you
you?
shouldn't
So
be loitering.
yeah, they asked me for a reason कि why you're roaming around. I said, sir, I'm
So
just going to visit a friend.
also
बोले
Article
अच्छा है
144
आपका excuse अच्छा नहीं है तो अभी आओ हमारे साथ. That's
144
exactly
is
what they
in
said.
place, but 144 is 4 or more people. So
Right.
I don't understand that also because if he's alone, he's not 4 or more people, so he's not
I,
violating 144 technically either. I
Also,
mean,
can I just say, I mean, like Antariksh, I mean, like, given the country we live in, right? Shouldn't you just say that I had gone to give my friend some medicine? Shouldn't that just be your answer?
No,
He did something, but they
correct.
didn't
But
refuse to buy it.
I thought I wasn't doing anything wrong. Like, why will I try and lie if I'm
Because
actually
Yeah,
in
it's
the
I
right?
confusing. We
guess.
forget because they're not really enforcing anything. We forget, like how you went and I
Uh,
went. We also organized a Saturday evening dinner. Let's meet, whatever. I almost
Oh,
left the house before realizing no restaurant is open.
yeah,
And we go early, like at 7, and but
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
nothing open. It's 4 o'clock shut. Um. So yeah. So this is
and
now
also
this.
knowing Mumbai cops, I think even if I had said what Amit said, okay, give an excuse like medicines and all, even then they can catch you, Bombay cops. Like, oh, सुबह नहीं जा
Oh,
सकते थे, अभी शाम को time मिला है
No, no,
सब. So
you are
you
just the
never know.
worst population dynamic for them. Worst meaning the one that they attack the most. The
Yeah,
upwardly mobile 20 to 30 Indian male
yeah.
is the one that they want to target the most because they want to put you in your
You're
place.
right.
They're all
I,
yeah.
you're 100% right. I've had more interactions with the cops until the age I was 25, 27, 28
Yeah.
than I've had till since then. And that like, like between the ages of 18 when I started driving, I guess that's what I'm supposed to say, right? I started driving at the age of 18. Between
Yeah.
the age
yeah,
I supposedly started, the age of 18
18
when I
years in
started
one day.
driving.
You kept an
Yes.
extra day there. Yeah. Huh.
And basically between, I'd say, 27 or so, right? Between that age is when I've had the maximum interactions with cops. They'd catch me for anything, right? I mean,
Also,
like
yeah.
just
Hmm.
over and
you
over
became
again,
a
right?
doppelganger for the home minister only in your 30s.
That is
Uh,
true.
by, by which time I'm sure cops will be saluting you now. I mean, if you
That
were
is
there with
true.
him, there would have been an escort taking you in and they'd be so worried for the moment you passed. But let's just say someone like, say, Kunal's age, our mutual friend Kunal, who's nearly
Oh,
57 years old. Now, if he was in Silvery's place, 1 o'clock somewhere in Powai, between Powai and Banner going home, they would have at the most had a couple of sentences, conversation, and that's it. Like,
yep,
Kai Karto,
Yeah.
Sahib, Kute Gela, something like that, and that's it. It wouldn't have gone
yep,
more. But I'm telling you,
yep.
they smell 20 to 30 and then they want to bully a little bit, be dominant. There's all kinds of
It,
issues here.
so I think the thing at 20 to 30 is you're in a weird age, right? Especially in I mean, like in the more privileged classes of Indian
Yeah.
society, right?
Yeah, I'm talking.
You
Yeah.
Yeah, you're at an age when you have some money, right? Whether you're
Hmm.
earning yourself or your parents are giving or whatever, you have some money, but at the same time you're also scared shitless of your parents, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's
of
true.
the way our
Yeah.
cultural stuff is, right? You don't want your parents to find out what you're doing. You're almost, if you're out at 12 o'clock in the night, right? Chances are you don't want your parents to know what you're doing at that point in time if you're under the age of 30, right? And so the cops know this.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that's
then.
true.
But now most parents want you out of the house. They can't stand seeing the kids every day. So that's a little different. Also, Silvery, I'm not saying, but there's small things like racism. His beard, for example, his age, his freshness, the fact that he doesn't look like he's worked a day in his life. All these things go against him. Look, don't Silvery, never feel bad. We are who we
Mm.
are. But I'm telling you, human nature can't stop having these prejudices in their head. Maybe if I had a Parsi kid coming for an audition, I may, without knowing it, subconsciously give him the job. We can't explain it sometimes. So with the police, they've already got both conscious and subconscious sort of menu card in the head, which they follow. And unfortunately, you come
Yeah,
up very badly in this group that you belong to right now. I don't know what to say because it actually needs an upheaval from social upheaval from the beginning, from the bottom upwards in terms of people who work in a uniform in India. But I don't know how that's going to ever happen. So enjoy
Yeah.
it. $800, and as you say, something written in Marathi, which was tap 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 takita tapa chala maje goda
Yeah,
goda. Some poem is there. And you don't know what it is. $800.
so I just quickly at the end, no. So I didn't sign any paper while they were making me sign because they were like, "Acha, ab gaadi chhod ke jana padega." That is the rule and all. Okay.
Uh,
So I was like, "Sir, I'm not gonna sign this paper. I don't know what it is." And so they're like, "Acha, abhi kya kar sakte ho?" I gave them whatever the money I had. Okay. And at the
that's
end
all
of
it
it,
was.
that's all it was. They obviously, I knew from the get go that that's all they wanted. I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong, and they can't really confiscate my car.
So
I
much
knew
for
that shit.
COVID and
Okay.
saving
Yeah.
society, and you
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
not be out.
But
Yeah. Huh.
but at the end of it, okay, he wants to look like he's doing some kind of official business, right? The cop. So
Yeah.
on the Marathi piece of paper, he writes in pen in Marathi again, okay, we have not taken your car from you. Okay. So and making me sign that. I'm like, if you've not taken my car from me, why do I have to sign anything? That makes no sense. You
Antrix, can I
this
get you a
genius.
piece of paper signing that I am not giving you $25 million?
Yeah,
Will you sign that
exactly.
piece of paper for
It's
me?
That is
also
exactly what that was.
for me. It's like the police doing MTV Bakra. It's like this is killing time, man. Making you
Yeah, man.
sign
That's
inconsequential pieces
exactly it.
of paper, having
Yeah.
conversations about nothing in particular, and then telling you if the car should be impounded, which is just a pointless point. Really, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the
Just
police now need a
messing.
break from policing. They've had too much for 2 years. We should send them somewhere for 6 months. Maybe Maldives. Everybody goes to Maldives. Go catch some sun, just relax for a little while, relax, feel a little more humanitarian towards other people, and then come back. Maybe we should just,
It's a hard
yeah.
job. I mean, like, again, we should be somewhat sympathetic, right? It's a hard job in the sense of, what I mean, like our
You're
mockery. I feel
bleeding
like,
heart, liberal. You cry for all of them. I don't
what do
want to
you?
cry for anybody.
No, I mean,
They've got
like,
great housing, good pensions. They've got a nice job. If they're overworked, they have to work that out through the system. It doesn't change the fact that their PR skills are crap, have continued to be crap, and
yes.
this is like a form of racism. They pick on a young kid like Silvery because they can't stand who he looks and who he represents. Which is the law should be blind to all that. I mean that should really never count. I mean that's the whole idea of being a policeman.
That's easier said than done, right? I mean, like, I wish that was the case, but that's not what happens, right? But and again, I'm not trying to make excuses for this kind of stuff. This is nonsense and bullshit, right? And this should not stand. But I'm also like, it's a broad brush that we're using to paint right now. So, there are
You're
not.
just a better man than I am, Amit. You're not as petty and small-minded, and it's partly to do with the fact that you don't have enough Parsi genes. If you did, you'd understand what it's like. I'm completely on Silvery's side. I've had so many growing up instances. It's again like racism because it gets into your head, the
Yeah.
prejudices after some time. Because you're always you see a cop, you're already feeling uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I wouldn't dare say that like an African American man growing up in America, but there's always a little bit of edge. No, I mean I've had some good interactions also, and when they recognize you from MTV and or if they like dogs or whatever, I had good reactions and all that. But sooner or later, I just think that they just hate one class. And what's the point of that? How can you police and say, I'll only police this class and not that class? I mean,
No,
it's not his
it's
fault that
I
he's born the way he's born or where that he has his own car, whatever.
so
It's a pointless
Yeah,
talk.
but again, I don't think that I don't think they pick on, like, the upper classes in that sense, right? Because I think that if anything, if you're younger, then I mean, like, oh, sorry, if you're from a less affluent kind of background, right? Then if anything, your interactions with the police are the power equations are much different.
That's
Antariksh
another
wasn't really
complex.
scared, right?
No, he
Antariksh, you
wasn't
weren't really
Yeah.
scared,
scared,
I wasn't
right?
but
I
it's
mean, like,
passive
scared.
aggression. It's
I mean,
passive
but
aggression
yeah,
where
but
they
I know
bully
they were
you.
wasting
yeah,
my time.
Yeah, they're
They
wasting your
love
time.
wasting
but
people's time.
were
Yeah.
you afraid of somebody hitting you with a danda?
So that has happened actually. I have had my collar caught and all by cops. So
Yeah,
that has
I'm just
happened.
like, that's the reality of this, right? I mean, like, that is
Yeah.
something that, like, a lot of people do really face in much deeper ways. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
so again, I'm going on the anti-cop side here. So I mean, I'm just saying that, there's a whole bunch of shit happening here, right? I don't think that it's that
The
a
only
one
good
answer fits.
the only good police that I've seen of late is that group Sting had back in the 80s. I mean, they were nice.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
What is this? Is there an ad or?
There was a group called the Police. What can I can't spell it out.
Oh,
I mean, they didn't arrest anyone. They just called the
but one sec,
police.
you
Yeah.
said group sting ad. How do
What
those three words add up to
I
police?
I can't even remember the group. I remember Sting
Well, yeah,
vaguely
no,
was
no.
in it, and there was a group
Sting was
called
in it,
band
but I
called
mean, like,
Police,
then
whatever you want to call it.
you added the word ad to it, right? That's the one that threw
Had.
me
I
because
think
I'm
he said
thinking about the
had, and we
advertising.
heard ad.
Let's not play name
Ah,
games
The
and
group
word
Sting
games here.
had. I
You
think
group
we heard it
struggle
as
sting
with
ad.
had.
Zaddy,
Okay,
which you
okay,
heard
okay.
before. And when
Oh,
I
I
asked you
love.
to give me the noun for rape, you guys gave me nothing but strange body language, pretense
Yes,
hoaxes of
never heard
being
of it, dude.
intellectuals where you look out of the window and stare hard. The thought is there, but I can't remember it. Well, I had to sit through all that rubbish, for God's sake. Yeah. Anyway, now that you destroyed my small off-the-cuff joke on police, the timing being so bad that now we can't retrieve it. We can't give it mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. It's dead. Couldn't
Yeah.
save the cops. It's gone completely. Silvery, you have been
Yeah.
wronged once again by people in uniform. And one day
Thanks for
when you
standing by
become
me,
chief
guys.
minister, yeah, you make sure you ring some changes. For one
Yeah.
thing, make them write all the dissertation should be in 7 to 8 languages. I mean, you should have a lot of choice. The guy was just sitting there and going, Odia? Yes. Telugu? Yes.
Yeah, just every language
Lots
you
of
do not
options.
understand. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, we write it in every language you don't understand.
He has to know everything until he gets the right language. Should not stop. Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing. That's also a little nasty because he can write the whole thing in Hindi. If you write Devanagari Marathi, you'll be able to probably write Hindi. I don't think you won't. And he probably
Yeah,
can write
exactly,
English as well.
absolutely.
So he's purposely not writing.
Yeah,
That's another.
exactly.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
is
that's so unnecessary. Because
exactly because he knows I can't read it. Exactly. He
Yeah.
doesn't want me to
But,
read
but
it.
but he could
Yeah,
switch to Hindi or English probably as fluently as he can in terms of writing at least. But he
very
didn't.
much.
He
Yeah.
refused to. Yeah,
Correct.
but you
Yeah.
should tell him. But हम लोग commentary भी कर सकते हैं ना. You can audio tape it on your phone. Tell him to read out the charges, and you tape it on your phone, and then
I
you say
mean, I
yeah,
can
said
do
it,
a lot of things. I'm still
but they
afraid of
don't.
the cops,
Yeah, I
man. That's
know.
the thing.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, you never
But
know, man.
technology is going
This
to go against the police because we can use it a lot now. In the old days, for
so
example, license you can show. In
there
Chennai they've
was
accepted, in Tamil
a
Nadu they've accepted it. Okay, the license is
let
on
me
the phone, good enough. I'm not carrying it. Here, here's my zoom in, take a look, read it. Here's a number, check the number. License all about one number that's there. Check the number and the date, expiry date, blah blah blah. Boom.
Do you think our Indian police will ever get those collar cameras or whatever, chest
Of
cameras,
the
course,
body cams,
hundred
huh?
percent.
body
They
cams, body
will. They
cams?
will at some
Yeah,
point. They have
I
to.
think I think that everybody is going to have it because it is two parts to it, right? A body cam doesn't just protect people; it also protects the police, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It
true. Yeah.
protects them from like false accusations and stuff like that, right?
But that's the
So
actual idea for them. It's for them to be
yeah,
make sure they have no legal implications later. But I think all humanity will have body cams. We won't trust each other after some time. We can even play out
well,
conversations. You told me you're leaving on the 15th. Okay, let's check.
yes.
Yeah, boom. I think it makes a lot of sense. It will
So
help a lot.
So the I mean like I don't know if you heard of the whole like cybernetics and stuff like that, right? The
Hmm.
thought that how we're going to have computers starting to be implanted in our body as time goes on, and one of the first things that I think people see as like a real possibility, right, is like recording constantly, always, right?
But
I mean,
especially, okay, maybe not so much for pleasure, when you're off, but when you're on, your day's on, like right now,
uh,
this whole part of the day when you're on, you're doing your
yeah,
work, engagements, etc., including travel, you may keep your body cam on. And then,
yeah,
of course, those 8-10 hours when you're off, you keep it off.
but
Because
no,
at
no,
that
sorry,
point, perhaps you don't need it.
sorry, I'm being a little I'm describing this wrongly, right? So what will wind up happening is that there will be
Oh, you're
camera
talking about a chip.
coverage. There's a chip which basically activates cameras wherever you
Okay, so
are,
this is
right?
like
And
for animals. So you keep the chip in, so the person is
huh,
24/7 activated.
right, because
Ah,
otherwise, if you
Pegasus
try
from
and
our
do
side. Yeah.
yes. Right, yeah, but I mean, like again, the thing about this is it's not surveillance if it's my own information or if it's my own experience, right? It's surveillance if I'm doing it to other people who I'm not with at that point in time. And I don't
Well,
think that
think of
that's
it,
necessarily.
it's an extension of when you have the house thing done.
Mhm.
So it's not caught on here in India so much, but it definitely has caught on in the West, where you put
The
the
smart
app
house.
onto your phone. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can check your phone at any point. You can check the bathroom, you can check whatever rooms, everything.
Hmm.
From wherever the hell you are. You can
Yep.
activate, open and shut locks, etc., etc., etc. So
Yeah.
so it's both practical and a sense of security. I think it's going to happen. If you don't
It
trust your
no.
wife,
So
for example, you've got or spouse or whatever it is, and there are people like that.
yeah.
You don't trust your partner at work. You just the
No,
chip is
there's
on and we record it.
there.
That's it.
I mean, like there is a lot of that kind of stuff, right? I mean, like just general CCTV is like extended to the point which is insane, right? I mean, like tiny
But are
little
you?
office like ours, we had 8 CCTV cameras, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
CCTV is
But do you do what I do? You know what I do with the CCTV cameras in buildings and all? I love passing through them and checking myself out and all that. So, a lot of people have started doing that. I find that it's great fun to watch them watch themselves, even though it's just fleeting. You suddenly see your face in the mirror. And haven't you noticed how people then go and take a look again?
everybody does, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
everybody
a
does.
mirror.
I have
It's
Yeah.
I have another
so.
great story about CCTV cameras.
Tell us.
Uh,
I once lost my phone at my bank. My bank is Bank of India. Terrible experience,
uh,
firstly. So I was at the bank and I kept my phone on the side. I was filling some details that I had on my phone onto some form that I was filling in the bank. And I kept my phone on the side. I turned around for 2 minutes, turned back around, and my phone is gone. So I make like a big scene about it. I asked them, "Hey, mere ko CCTV footage. Like, I want to see CCTV footage." Okay, they show me the CCTV footage, and then they tell me, "Sir, we forgot to hit record today, so we can see live CCTV, but it's not being recorded at the bank." So I go to the cops and like, dude, what do I do? What do I do? Cops are like, dude, the bank does not have. They don't legally have to do this. If they do CCTV and all, it's for their own security. So we can't really do anything. So there was no way to get my phone back because they weren't recording. So if I had gone with a gun to that bank and robbed the entire place, they would have no proof that I had robbed the bank. This is crazy. My parents
But
use the
no,
same
but
bank. They have
knowing
like
you,
lockers and
but
all in the
knowing
bank.
you, Sylvie, knowing you, you'd have kept the gun aside for a second while you checked your phone, and then the
Yeah.
gun would have been stolen. And then you can't hold up the bank with a phone because no one will take you seriously. So you've got to be
Yeah,
careful.
that's exactly
Think
what
these
it is.
things through. But this is a lovely story, and this is so third world. It's not just India. It's just anywhere in the world where you hear this story, you just feel technology has been wasted. It's just a
Yeah.
perfect story for technology not being aligned to the society. There's no point. The whole point is it has to record. I mean, what's the point? Yeah, really,
So
that's lovely.
that's all, because again, I mean, like, this is a this is something. So this used to happen to us all the time, right? In the old office, I had to kind of set up like some really, because what happens is that as Indians, we are taught always turn off all switches, never waste electricity.
I'm the king of that. I shut everything.
Yes. No, and I understand you should shut stuff which is being used. If you
It's
have a light on, turn it off. If you
it's
have
our
this on, turn
generation,
it
Amit.
off.
Not his silvery generation almost doesn't shut a damn thing. Trust me, it's you up to you
Uh,
and me up to
No,
the
no, I don't
90s.
shut either. I only shut lights. The only things I'll be careful to shut lights and fans and stuff
I
like
shut
that.
doors. I move people out of spaces.
Okay.
I'm very good that way.
The one
Now
that
go
drives
on,
me
back to your point.
insane, right, is do not shut chargers. Don't shut charger plugs. Why are you shutting charger plugs?
What
People
do you mean
shut
by
the
shut charger plugs?
basically our plugs have an on-off switch, right? In India, like in the US, if you look at like sockets,
The
plug
main
sockets,
socket.
yeah, those have on-off switch in India. In the US, they don't have on-off switches. You just plug them in and you use them, right? Over here, we have an on and
Yeah,
off switch on our socket, right?
correct.
So there is
So
the
why can't you
three-pin
shut it?
socket in it, because there's no point to shutting it. Why would you shut it? If it's not being used, it's not using electricity. If it's being used, it's using electricity. Why are you shutting it?
Yeah, that's a good point. I better check this.
What I
But I
have
do shut it.
heard, I could be wrong, but even if I've heard that if devices are plugged in and the
Yes.
switch is on, even if they're not in use, they're using some amount of
If
electricity.
devices are plugged in, the
Even
control is to
devices,
whether the control on a charger is to plug the device or not to plug the device. Right? That's the control you need to have. If the device is plugged in, if your charger, if I have an
He's saying
iPad charger and the iPad is
empty
plugged in,
board, an empty board. We leave the switch on or off makes no difference.
yeah,
I can't. I can show you. So the plug point basically has nothing in it, so it doesn't matter if the switch is on or off. If something's in
yeah,
it, then it matters.
then
So
it
till the time
matters.
something is in it, why do you think about it? Why can't you just leave it on? Because the
Yeah.
whole idea is that when you put it on, you're going to charge it. That's why you put it on. So you might as well just keep it
And
on,
so what
yeah, and then you pull it out, and that's it. Again, it's dormant.
so what's happened to me, right, in my cabin in the older office that we had, I had my computer chargers looked into it, and then Antrix, as you know, I'd walk around the office with my computer, sometimes talking to people here and there, take it into the studio for things, all of that kind of stuff, right? And then I'd go back to my room and I'd plug it and I'd forget about it. I wouldn't check, right? And sometimes the plug would be off and the computer would complete discharge by the time I got to office in the morning, and so then I needed to actually charge, right, and not just like this. And it used to drive me insane. It's just like, why are we turning this
So
off?
here's the important question, Amit. If I put my finger in the plug point
Yes.
without anything attached to it, can I get a shock?
If you put it into one finger, if you put it into one plug point, this is please don't try this at home. If you put it into one
I'm gonna
thing,
try it
no, it
right
would
now.
not. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
So
Nothing happened.
you have to complete the circuit for power to kind of this, right? So if you just touch one thing, nothing is going to happen. But if you touch two,
So bare
then you
touching,
get it.
nothing will happen. Is that so?
Yeah.
Wow. What
If
a
you
show.
complete
What a
this,
podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what all we learn here. I mean, I could have saved lives today. Amit, you with this lovely discourse on two versus one points of a plug to be touched. I didn't know this. Is this bunkum or true?
no, it's true. It's completing the circuit. Now electricity
Silvery,
travels when the circuit is completed.
Silvery. So we need someone to take a hit for the team here. Can you
yeah,
just put
like
two fingers? I've done the one
Don't
finger
try
up
this at home.
to now. Uh-huh. Can you try two fingers? Remember that
yeah, I can try
affidavit
it,
that you had in Marathi and just go ahead.
but I usually switch off my switchboard, so I hope that's fine. So I'll put it in right now, but it's
Yeah,
off.
don't touch the plug, please. I think
All
somebody
right,
just put that comment
guys.
in. Don't touch the plug.
No, no,
Because
that's what I'm
again, see,
saying. So see, you didn't clear the myth then. He's saying
uh,
don't touch the plug because is so. Can you
no,
touch the
because
bare plug or not with your hand, finger, whatever?
you should be
But I have got
theoretically able
shocks.
to.
I have got shocks from an ironing board plug pulling it out
So
as recently
again,
as
it's a
last year.
question of are you completing the circuit or not? That is the question, right? If you are touching the plug and you touch something else which has an electrical current going through it, then you can complete the circuit. At which
So
point
it came
you
from
will
the
get a
iron.
shock.
It
It
came
can
from
come
the
from the
iron.
it came from the iron. It's basically because the iron gave you the completed the circuit.
I
Something
think my
has to
wife
complete the
purposely kept
circuit.
the iron on. This is all part of her plot. Ever since I took that Keyman insurance scheme, I've been very careful with plugs in the house. They've always been kept on for my benefit, and people are encouraging me to pull out the plug, or in a sense, pull out the plug. Oh shoot, that's horrible. Okay, guys, 10:30. Time for us to take a break. You've been
Yep.
riveting. All we've
Yes.
learned is Zaddy is a charismatic male figure who's also a father. That's all we've got so far. And that Silvery can't read Marathi. Silvery can't read at all.
I can't.
Even I can
Not
read a
not.
little bit.
No, I can read, but I won't understand what I'm reading. I can make the words. I can sound out the
Yeah.
words, but I won't know
Uh,
what word means.
I
Yeah.
have the same thing. I know all the characters in Marathi and I can sound them out, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I can't put them together in the same way. I can understand when somebody is speaking in Marathi what they're saying, but I can't connect the reading to make it actually make sense.
Also, under pressure, there your confidence goes down. So your reading ability gets worse. Your
Yeah.
taking in gets worse if you're feeling a little stressed and all that. I can imagine. And I'm
Oh,
sure
also, I forgot to mention, the printed Marathi sheet was actually terrible. Like the print ink had run out, so I had to like really strain to even tell. Like it was like
Oh,
half white, the words and all. It was really terrible. Just they really did not
ah,
want me to read it. So it
discolorization,
wasn't
that's
what.
damn tough when it gets
Yeah,
discolorized.
yeah.
So suddenly it's
yeah,
like faint, then it's darker, then it's faint again. Yeah. That's purposely done. It's all part of the psychological
purposely done.
ramifications
That's definitely
for your
purposely done.
head. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof, lovely.
yeah.
This is all torture. Huh? This is some form of torture. Targeting you, young man, between 20 and 30, with your aftershave. Do you have aftershave on? They don't like aftershave. They've even
I
told
don't.
me.
I didn't have.
Never wear aftershave. Always take off the aftershave. Hey, by the way, guys, as we go into break, just check out this towel that I found. Yeah, it's got my name on it. That's all fine. But it's been in the bag without being washed in my gym bag for about 8 months maybe. And I can't believe it. It's beautiful. It's isn't it poetic and symbolic of the struggles of Mumbaikars? Oh God, if I could only find the camera.
How is
Man,
it?
don't show that.
It's
Don't show
just
that, please.
dirty. How is it poetic
In
or
this,
symbolic?
Amit Doshi, that naive question, what a redundant question to ask a man. In this lovely Rumal is the story of pain, of angst, of stress, of striving, of trying to complete yourself in a city which has shut down and refusing to open. Now if I can only find the camera, yeah, there it is.
I hope that you haven't used that in a really, really long time.
I haven't used it. So let me explain. They shut us down in March end again, right? This year.
Ah,
So this was in the bag and used. It stayed in the
okay.
bag and used till today. Because I've not cleaned the bag. I've started going. They've opened the gyms. I've been going there, but I found it while I was pottering around, and I was wow. And it told a story, guys. It tells a story. Yeah. And
It
don't ask me
tells
what
us.
the brown stains are,
Yeah,
but I'll tell you. No, I've
I
noticed.
don't want to know.
No, it's mostly from belly spray and things like that that's causing this
Okay, okay. All right.
discolorization. It's not blood or semen or susu. Or, I mean, it could be. I mean, I don't remember the details from last week. All right, should we take a quick break on that poignant note?
Yes.
Yes.
And here we are back from our wild break. Drinks in hand. Cheers. Breakfast.
Okay, so
Do you guys
apparently
eat
I'm
before the
just
show?
sometimes, not always. But I just looked at this. I think I should kind of correct this because a bunch of people are saying this, right?
The plug,
That
no?
apparently
You better
standing on
correct
the
it.
yeah, standing on the ground completes the circuit.
Yeah.
So the
But
ground
You're
is the
grounding.
but
circuit.
what if you're
Yeah.
wearing rubber slippers?
Then I don't think it would.
Yeah, so there's a lot of terms and conditions
There
applied. Not
are,
that
yeah.
simple. Now we not got to get an electrician
We
on the
gotta get
show.
a
Yeah, I
electrical
can't.
engineer or somebody who can
Just
actually
because of
answer
this
this with
damn.
like
I
real
mean,
authority.
to
I could have
complete
sworn
the show.
I remember somebody once told me like when we were doing when I was on like a movie shoot or something like that, that if you touch one thing nothing happens, but if you touch both you'll fucking die, right? Like on a
That makes
set somewhere
sense.
somebody told me that, right?
That
And
makes
I
sense.
yeah,
That you activate the whole setup as you said. That
yeah,
makes sense. But my point is it an active plug point on its own, where if you put your finger as against an actual wire or cable and put your finger in, because that's how we had in the old days, we would get shocks. And I'm trying to
yeah.
remember what other reason there is to it, like
So
your feet on the
I think like
ground.
if yeah, so feet on the ground could be one. I know that one way that a lot of people do get shocked is if you're plugging something in, right? And the plugs are not like properly insulated. Correct. Like the
Hmm.
plug points and stuff. Like you could touch the metal of the thing that's getting pushed in. That can cause a shock. I know that people have got. I've gotten a shock like that. I know, like old
Yeah.
plugs which are broken, which you're trying to plug in and trying to kind of keep making work. Sometimes you can get shocked on that. So
I
I
Also,
mean,
mean,
another way is
Sylvie,
bad earthing. Bad earthing also does it.
bad
Supposing
earthing.
like
Oh, bad earthing does it
yeah,
all the time, right?
yeah, all the time.
Water does it.
Water does it. Yeah.
Sylvie,
Yeah.
you were mentioning offline about your vibrator. You had the same issue.
Yeah, it shocks me. Correct. I'm always like, oh, I'm a vibrator. It's so shocking.
Sorry, I just remember the family listens. Both our families listen. My sister started becoming a regular back in America, and I think she really doesn't understand this side of me. Yeah, I mean the whole Amit's plug point conversation will be this kind of thing that middle class America will also like to talk about, because these are issues that we all have. It's a commonality of getting shocks and not knowing what the systems are, and then suddenly you go into this. Silver, really, you disgust me, honestly. How come you were able to order on Amazon and chase Marathi for your, let's call it, instrument?
Because it comes all covered up, right? I don't have to show my family what I've ordered, so I can just order it.
You don't have families. Okay, you don't have to show the police, because that's going to be another explanation altogether.
Yeah.
Me kya kar do? I'm alone.
Yeah. What were you doing to at your friend's place, sir?
Well, next weekend you've got another option, playing with the plug point. By the way,
Yeah.
if you're watching our podcast, please do not play with the plug point. We were just having a conversation. Do not put your finger inside the socket. I mean, what kind of moron does that? But can you believe we've all done that at some point? I know.
I've done it.
I know. Who hasn't done it in their youth? It's ridiculous.
Once as a kid, I once stuck the car cigarette charger onto my finger to see whether it was actually hot or not. And then for like 2 weeks, it was like I had like a burn.
But you don't have to do that to see if it's hot. You can just bring it close and you'll be able to imbibe the heat.
This is I know, but I was like a little kid. I thought like, oh, it can't be that hot, and I like touched it.
Was it red or did it become black or what?
It first became black. I remember it became black. I don't know about
Did you touch the car lighter when it was red?
Yeah. Oh.
The color changes when it
was definitely hot, and it burnt my finger. So it might have been at least very hot.
No, so it can be black and hot too, which is enough to burn.
Yeah.
But if it's red and you did it as a child, then I mean, like even as a child,
you should have scalded it immediately.
Terrible.
I mean, that's lighting hot. That's fire. That's fire creating hot. Wow, that would be great. What did your parents say?
My mother freaked out. She's like, why do you do that? So now I remember. So I was driving somewhere. My mother was driving me somewhere, and I took out the car lighter, and she's like, no, don't touch that. It's very hot. So because he said that, I was like, oh, now I have to touch it, man. So I like put it in, I like took it out, and
this is exactly how I became a practicing homosexual. I was with my friend, and he said, don't. Yeah, I was all good until then, man. Never. This auto suggestion causes so many problems. People should not force their will on others. This is why we land up doing things. So, again, should we say, then is it okay to touch the plug point? Because we don't want to force them, and then by that, they follow. So, reverse psychology in app.
You should tell people, you better touch the plug point. Like, hey, you don't tell me what to do.
I'm confused. I'm confused. How should we play? Amit, it's on you. Don't run off to the stage now. Okay, again, do not play with the plug point. God, I'm getting a little scared here. We do have some younger people.
37 minutes in. Do we want to touch a topic?
Oh shit, we haven't touched a topic. How do we do this?
This might be the longest one ever, though.
This really might be.
We generally get into a topic at least once in the first half.
Yeah. No, we go into another topic, which is not part of the topics.
Well, so that's what we've done right now. Yeah. We've had a long discussion.
We've created on points. I would allow the Marathi problem with the cops and the letter and all that as a topic. That's a topic. But then I think we went to the plug point thing, and it just became a domestic appliance issue thing. And it's like three housewives now.
Even the plug point thing is a topic, right? I mean, like it's a weird topic, but it's a topic.
Speaking of which, I just shot an ad film day before, and it's so, because you're working with a new crew, it's so embarrassing when the guy, the in charge of hair and makeup guy, comes in and says, "Sir, topic lagao." Because he doesn't want to disrespect you. Topic silvery is what they put on the balding parts for cheap production. It's that black suit-like thing that's put. It's almost like boot polish. That's the best description. And they don't like to tell the male, because in case he doesn't want to accept that he's balding or doesn't have hair or whatever. Especially like my case, where it's like half on, half off. So they're not sure how I'm handling it psychologically. So their body language, they come and it's really strange, because he doesn't want to break that, but he needs to put it, because he knows his boss is going to say ki top shot pe dekh sakta hai or whatever, and he's going to have to follow that crap later. So it's a very delicate position of how it's almost like diplomatic, relations between countries. A guy comes to you and he says very sweetly, almost like, don't feel bad, topic laga, and he's smiling, and and I was like, nahi hai baal na. What they don't understand is the humiliation is only there the first couple of times. After 5 years of it
Yeah.
or whatever, like a week that wasn't there, the guy Ivan just comes and pours it all over my head like powder, and just I mean, so I'm immune to any kind of. But I do remember, Amit, I don't know about you, but I had friends who were balding in their 20s and 30s. I mean, I'm
Mm.
Silvery's age balding, and
Yeah.
they didn't deal with it well, and we couldn't even mention it, huh? And these are guys who we used to call each other by our father's names and abuse each other, MCBC and all were par for the cause. But we
But you
could
call them
not mention
takla,
the
and then
touchy.
you
Yeah.
mention
No,
takla
you
and they're
couldn't
not
even
happy.
mention ki your hair is falling.
Yeah.
It just gets really aggressive and defensive.
No, people
Mm.
do. I mean, like, I know that in my friend circle also that became a thing. I know that at the age of, like, 30, a number of people went and did, like, went to Dubai for, like, the
The big
surgery,
thing.
the thing
Mm.
that was done
Surgery.
by one of the Khan guys.
It's Salman, yeah.
Yeah, basically he did it over there, and so then, like, a bunch of people I know followed that as well. I basically, the way I saw it is I went bald too early in life for this to even be like a conversation, right? I was at the age of, like, I started shaving my head when I was 21, 22 years old, right? Because it was just like it was gone, it was going. There's just no point in even trying. And I didn't have the money at 21, 22 to do any kind of surgery. So I was just like, I have to deal with this. So I just kind of started going there. So I think it depends. It depends on how severe the issue is and for who, right? Like I was literally half-headed when I was 22 years old, right? I mean, like I had like a big kind of the what do you call that thing? The widow's peak,
It's,
right? So this
I
whole
think,
area was gone.
so you see, you were never in denial. It's possible that your support system was not really, good or bad. They were indifferent. So you were never in denial. The problem with these guys are, the ones who get upset is that they try to not believe it's true and try to
Yep.
actually push it away. The idea of confronting this whole issue also beyond a point. Once you're
So
confronting it, you're already on the road to I can deal with it. Like once they
so-
put topic in your hair, it's done.
yeah,
The
yeah.
first time they've done it, it's done. They cross that line. Till then, you're a little, oh God, you think my hair's gone? There's a point. Silvery,
I
all
think
coming soon, huh? You'll suffer all this.
Dude, it's already started. In this lockdown, I've like developed a ball patch in the middle of my
Nothing,
like
nothing. You got a full shock
my
of hair.
forehead.
Just enjoy it
yeah.
while it lasts. You're talking to two men who are one whose hair is gone and one whose hair is going. So trust me, we'd exchange with you in a heartbeat.
I think I have the benefit of coming from a big family of fully bald people, like really,
Uh,
really bald people, right? My father was one of six brothers, none of whom maintained hair into their 40s, right? All were gone by then. On my, all of
Maybe they were
my,
cool about it.
so
The
oh,
elder relatives were all cool about it. Maybe that was a decent example. You never
yeah.
know. These
No, no, I mean, like,
they're cool about it.
they all had the dark brown hair, right? I mean, like, except for the highly corporate, right? One was highly
Yeah.
corporate, one was a doctor, but everybody else had the dark brown hair, right? I mean, like, it was like, the kind of all over the
mm,
place,
No, but my point is, could
unkept.
they dealt with it? You could talk about it, or if
Yeah.
somebody made a joke or passed a comment or something,
Oh,
nobody
yeah, yeah,
died
yeah.
there.
It was like
but were you afraid of losing your hair when you were younger?
I
Were you
always
like,
knew it was gonna go. My mom's
yeah,
father was bald. All of my uncles on my dad's side are bald. My dad was bald. My dad's dad was bald. The chances of me keeping hair were like astonishingly slim. In all of the
mm.
cousins of my
And then
generation, two people have hair. That's
and
it.
then
Oh wow.
Silvery, then he goes and puts his finger in the plug point, which immediately causes hair loss. Yeah, but Silvery, you answer this question yourself. As a man who's under 30, the fact of the matter is there's no male who doesn't feel worried for a
Yeah.
little while. But then you cross it because hair
Mm.
is there and then suddenly hair is not there. It's a period. But
Yes.
Yeah.
some men really don't deal with it in a, I don't think adult way is the right thing to say, but in a positive way. And
No,
that's terrible. The
it's
same guy can say anything too. I could
yeah.
abuse his religion, anything, but he cannot mention bald. It's scary.
Yeah, but you know what? So the thing is that I was kind of insulated from that. So I used to make fun of everybody for like especially when they were doing the covering up stuff, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you're
Mm.
fucking bald. Shave your head. I mean, like
Yeah.
I yeah, I was
Maybe that would help. Sometimes it's some kind of plain speak like that because that doesn't
yeah,
happen. Nobody can
yeah.
bells the cat and they just go on like that. And suddenly you have a friend with this, it's
That
the elephant in
I
the room all
had
the time. Yeah.
at the age of 30, it was like literally doing like comb over type stuff, right? And I'm just like, dude, come on, man, that
Yeah.
don't do that. Just like shave your head or go get some surgery. Do one of the two things.
Really.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, enough depressing talk about plugs and hair. Let's go to the topic that we had planned, which was Silver,
Yes,
you have
sure.
it.
We have a few. Let's see how many we'll be able to get. I think we'll be able to do maybe one or two
One.
tops. Uh,
One. Yeah.
okay. So this one is kind of interesting because this is from Mumbai. It's about a social media influencer who posted a video about. So he faked a suicide because he wanted more followers. Okay, so basically what he did is he posted a video of him at the train tracks, and then through editing he made it look like he was getting hit by a train. And so that was his hope that, oh, I'll get more followers. But then now he's facing like charges because you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to fake your own suicide or something.
Figures own suicide
Uh,
in a way, a betment to encouraging suicide. There must be some words to that effect
yeah,
in our law. Yeah.
yeah, people could take it, yeah, wrongly, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy got so many followers by
It's
coming
the
to suicide.
reason
Maybe he
why
has it.
they wanted to change the ending of Kamala Hassan film. What's
Ek
it?
duje
Ek
ke liye.
Duje Ke Liye. Am I right? Wasn't that also the
Yes.
reason because it was
That
inspiring
was
people?
that
Yeah.
that was one of the thoughts, right? Because that was a true, like, hey, let's go and commit suicide kind of thing, right? Not a let's get killed kind of thing, which has happened in many movies. But let's go
Hmm.
and commit suicide was a kind of this. But it's interesting, right? I have very conflicting feelings on this particular thing, right? In the sense that if you look at the video, right, and the link that Antrish you had sent out kind of gave us like an idea of what the video is. It's clearly fiction, right? Even if it is him acting as if it is himself, it's
Yeah, but
clearly
Amit,
fiction.
that doesn't hold up because you're talking about you guys who are in the business and all. There are enough people across the world who don't really understand what they're
Who don't
watching.
I
understand what
know.
editing is. Yeah, that's true.
I know,
Hmm.
but I mean, like, but now that's a question, right? That I mean, like, how does so social media does not have the same protection as fictional content does in the sense of what you are allowed to say, and I believe that I don't know, I'm confused as fuck about this because I read another article that came out this morning. There is a Malayali influencer called Ashkar Teki who basically got caught out with this idea that and this happened to like five or six other people, but two of the guys who got approached in front, it's basically all this anti-vaccine propaganda, right?
Hmm.
Talking about studies in like some specific ways. Each of these French influencers were being offered 2,000 euros to kind of do this stuff, and this guy wound up doing something like this. He's a really popular guy. He has like his main channel has been hacked because again he
So
did something
he's
stupid, so he got hacked.
promoting anti-vaccine propaganda.
Anti-vaccine propaganda. But he says his channel's got hacked, but his secondary channel that he has 275,000 followers. So I don't know what his main channel had. His main channel was probably huge, right? And
Hmm.
he was doing this. So I mean, like, on the one hand, I feel like if you're creating social media content, you should not be treated differently than somebody who is creating like other kinds of content. But on the other hand, when you are going out and kind of doing something like this, it is like, wow, that is kind of also like fucked up, right? I mean, like, because no disclosure that he's being paid, nothing, nothing, nothing. And again, he says he's been hacked, so yeah, I'm sure he's been hacked the same way that all the other people have been hacked over history have
Everybody
been,
gets hacked when it's something
when there's
controversial.
something, when
Till,
something
till,
bad
till, till it's
happens, right?
controversial, there's no hacking. It is all my own work, my own
Exactly.
followers, all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. The thing is, the internet, there are all kinds of things out there, and not all of them are true. For example, I watched this thing, and I thought it was a singer, but it turned out to be Justin Bieber. So I mean, there's this shit out there, and and we
Yeah.
keep talking about freedom, the freedom of taking freedom of speech, freedom of expression being the better word.
Yeah.
Then technically, again, Amit, you and I being zealots for freedom,
Yeah.
we can't stop these morons who want to do moronic things. We can
That's the
say it's really
problem.
stupid, but it's almost like we're becoming hypocritical in that sense because we want that freedom platform which allows Nazis and neo-Nazis to sprout their crap or Osama followers or what have you, and a suicide, let's say, persuader, if that's the
Yeah.
right phrase. So I don't want to say this, but as a supporter of freedom of expression, what do you do?
No, see, and again, he's not really promoting suicide in that sense, right? I don't know
Indirectly
how
he
much.
is. Let's take the
The
argument. Let's take the premise. Indirectly he is because there are morons watching his moronic show, and it's the same reason why a guy watching the thumbs up ad jumps in Uttarakhand from his
correct, correct.
window
In
with a
that
rope.
sense,
I
yeah.
mean, in that
In the
sense,
same kind of
do or do
sense, yes, right.
punch. Yeah.
But does that mean that the creative freedom of a creator must be impinged because of this kind of thing? Because again, it's a really difficult kind of this, because like Indian TikTok, right, or Indian whatever it is, Josh or Takatak or Reels or whatever. Well, maybe not Reels, but whatever the other, like, broader Indian platforms are around this kind of stuff, right? They're full of this kind of stuff, right? Not suicide per se, but like,
But
a
crazy stuff,
guy
silly
walking
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, a guy walking with a girlfriend and the girlfriend giving a look to some other dude, and
Yeah.
then this guy, like, all of a sudden beating up somebody. It's full of this kind of stuff, right? And we don't promote any of this behavior as actual behavior that somebody should do, right? Like the number of people who get slapped on this kind of stuff. right? On
Yeah.
TikToks and all these kinds of.
Men
I'm
and
using
women, by the
TikTok
way,
as an
both get slapped.
yeah, yeah, men and women
Yeah.
get slapped
It's
all the time
crazy.
for like
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
kinds of trivial romantic kind of
Who doesn't
bullshit
like a
issues.
slap video? I mean, a slap video is a
Again,
high
There
form
you
of
go.
art.
slap,
Yeah.
by slap, Amit means mock slap, not actual people are
Yeah.
not actually getting slapped. Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah,
might
but
be
you're
scared. Who knows,
encouraging
man?
again. See, you're encouraging the
Yeah.
road to violence, the road to. I mean, if you want to look at it that
Yeah.
way.
It
The
does seem,
point
yeah.
Yeah.
being, there's all kind of mediocrity and stupidity and savagery out there and unsophisticated crap. But we all say that freedom of expression is about everything, and that allows
Hmm.
everything to come out. You can't have because
Yeah.
then we're reverse fascists ourselves because we're saying okay,
We
only
are.
this,
But
only
I
that.
definitely want this Ashkar techie kind of stuff to not be out there, which is like demonstrably false, and where he's using this large platform that he has, talking to millions of people and giving them fake information about vaccines, which he's being paid to do without disclosing. I don't want that either. So, how do you kind of, where
It's
is
a
the
tough
balance
one.
between these two things?
I mean, you can't even stop Trump talking. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's everybody should have their say. That's freedom of expression, whether you like it or not. Now,
Yeah.
having said that, if there's a way to police it slightly so that people don't do stupid things because you don't want people dying on your watch, I guess you can. But it's just a dichotomy. It's a very big one
Yeah.
because it's those extreme cases which are the problem. Otherwise, what's the issue? If people look a little bit left or a little bit right, it's fine. No change happens. But
I mean, like there's an old saying
this
in
guy, Mr. Techie, can cause a revolution in a sense. In
yeah,
Australia, they've already started fighting and protesting against the
yeah,
lockdown in Sydney. So if he suddenly gets, mobilizes 1 lakh people to stand in one square and start
yeah.
destroying a clinic or, attacking a hospital or, whatever, next thing you know, it could move into a domino effect and we can have it all over India. I
It
would
can be
join.
all over the place. Exactly.
I would
It's a
join. I'm free
really
on Monday. Yeah.
yeah, it's a really hard thing, right? I mean, like, so there's a saying in, I mean, I'm sure you know this as like a half lawyer, but there's a saying in law, right? Like
Half
tough
lawyer.
cases. Well, I mean, like you call yourself half lawyer, but
That's me.
yeah, that sorry, tough cases make for bad law, right? Because I mean, like, law is based on precedent, and when you have these kinds of edge cases, right? I mean, like, it's really hard to figure out because you have to examine this from, like, if you were to ask me just on the face of it, shut down Usher Terry, no problem. Let this tell this guy to stop doing his suicide nonsense, no
Can't do
problem.
that.
But you can't do that when you look at the overall precedents that you're setting on these things, right?
You can't do that because you'll be supporting the right to freedom of speech to a subject which you now agree and align with, which is again edgy. It's at some other
Yeah.
point in your life. And then what happens? Here we're very clear that this is stupid, or that the anti-COVID guy is just causing trouble for no reason. The
Mhm.
suicide guy who wants to propagate suicide, fine. But there'll be enough cases where you'll want to fight for Munawar Faruqi
Yeah,
for his voice to be heard, where everybody wants to
exactly.
silence him. And then
Look,
it's from our side
you
the same thing.
you had that priest story that I guess we don't have time to talk about right now. But I mean, like, the priest story was same kind of thing, right? He said something which I think was kind of fucked up in what he said, right? But he said something which was perceived as anti-Hindu, anti-government, and he got really taken to task over it, right? But what I mean, like, there are plenty of people who will agree with what he said, who are not going to disagree with what he said, right? So it's
Yeah, but I
just
mean that's not the thing. See, for you and me and Silvery, he represents the same, whether we like it or not. We're from the same fraternity. The question is not what is right or wrong, or whether you agree or not agree. That's not the question. The question is the right to express. That's all
yeah,
there
but
is.
I think we're all coming down on the side where we do see that some limitations are okay, right? And I don't feel
But
that
the moment we have that some limitations are okay and we quantify
yeah,
things, we're in trouble.
we are.
I would not like Kim Jong Un's philosophy to, be sent all over the world. But if we stop him from opening his own channel, of course, he's
Yeah.
denied the internet at the moment. He says there is no such thing. Saw a lovely documentary on North Korean defector. So he claims that there's only one race, there's only one type of people. This is after Dennis Rodman visited. That's only
Okay.
them. I mean, what a guy! He's really my hero. It's another level of just that's it, no internet. That's
I
it.
need to see that. I've seen 5 of the episodes that came on Netflix. How to Be a Tyrant.
Yeah. Oh, I got to watch that.
Uh, yeah, it's really good, man. I mean, I've seen 5 of them. The Kim Jong
Okay.
Un one is the one that's pending still.
I'm going before we get into the AMAs quickly. Pornhub is being sued, guys. Please, this is huge for our people. Fight poor Pornhub, giving
Why? Why
us
is it so?
because they've taken all the great works, of the great artists, Renaissance and after, and they've made them into porno sort of exhibits where they'll take a Venus de Milo or whatever, and then it opens up into a woman who's playing with herself, and that kind of thing. So they've basically lampooned in a sense, but they've also taken the background. They've actually taken those
Oh,
graphics and then used that. So the photo essence of that is used, and then they've gone into, and these are
So
great
copyright.
masterpieces.
Copyright
Yeah, yeah.
violation.
So museums
Hmm.
and paint owners of the paintings, yeah, copyright violation. That's it.
No, so
And
then I mean, like they should be sued for
some
copyright
some are
violations.
crying out, bringing it into disrepute. I mean, the woman's naked in any case in the painting,
Oh,
but they've taken it further. They've gone and taken the license that she might
I
be doing
am
something. She's not just naked. Yeah. Uh, so pray for Pornhub, guys.
okay.
Okay.
If you
All right.
say
AMAs,
so.
Let's get to the
Yes.
AMAs.
don't
Yes.
act so innocent, you two.
No, I'm
Uh,
just saying that there are other sites. I mean, like if not Pornhub, there are like
but
25
Pornhub
other
is
sites that
dominant.
exist.
It's dominant. The most dominant of all
Is
the
it?
sites. There's Lobster
Okay.
Tube, there's Ape Tube, there's Dino Tube. I mean, don't make me quote chapter and verse.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sil- Silvery doesn't have a word to say, huh? Because mom's listening. माँ तो
Uh,
नहीं करता है, मैं तो मराठी का पढ़ाई करता है आजकल. माझी आईच्या नाव. What a terrible thing, na? In Bombay, that none of us speak good Marathi. Anywhere else, if we were
yeah.
raised, we'd speak the local language. This is, you just see. I have friends who've grown up in Chennai, speak Tamil. One pal of mine is Sadar, speaks beautiful Tamil. Our Malu friend grew up in Delhi, speaks great Hindi. But anybody who grows up in upmarket Mumbai, for some reason, this has happened.
So my dad had a transferable job, right? He was in the IAS, Indian
Right.
Administrative Services, and so he had a transferable job. So whenever I went, I was always exempt from third languages because
Yeah, that's true.
every 5 years I would have to learn a new language. So in hindsight, maybe it was not the smartest thing, but at the time I was like, "Oh, this is great," because I would have
Oh, you
always
could
have
have
like
been one of those kids who
multiple
picked
free
up
periods.
5 to 6 languages. And there are
Yeah,
those
exactly.
kids also. I know a lot of 4G kids who can speak 10 languages because they've been
Yeah.
stationed in 3, 4. They just have the ability to
Yeah,
pick it up. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So,
Doesn't
but
matter.
yeah, like I never
Marathi's
did that.
loss is Desi English's gain. So let's move on.
Well. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's get to the AMAs. The first one comes in from Parth. This is for Amit. He says, "What does Amit think about the US losing to France in basketball in Tokyo?"
But that
And
Kevin
honest,
Kevin Durant is in the team.
Kevin, yeah, they should not have lost to
They've
France.
got 2 or 3 top guys in the team.
Kevin Durant's on that team. Then I
So I
think
thought it was a
Drew
purely
Holiday.
amateur team. It's not an amateur team. It's
So
got
I
three.
so three players came in new, right? I mean, like Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, and Chris Middleton, who are all playing in the finals, came
Yeah,
in fresh, and all three are really important players. So
right.
you can maybe look at it as adjustment time, but at the same time, the US also lost to Nigeria, and they also lost to Canada. Sorry,
But
Canada,
how can
Australia,
so
before the Olympics, the qualifiers.
so
So who
explain it
knows?
to us. So the NBA, there's that gulf that we thought was there
It's
between
not as
NBA
big.
basketball. It's not as big because the
It's not as
national
big
teams
as
of 5 or 10 countries are just about there.
Well, I mean, like, so again, the NBA has probably the best team that they should be able to create. But again, the problem also is that
They haven't
the
played
NBA
together.
team, they haven't played together at all. All of the players are essentially NBA pros who are coming in, right? Whereas when you look at other teams, there are probably maybe five to like on a 12-man roster, maybe five players are NBA teams on a top tier team, right? 5 to 7 players are NBA teams, but the other five are like national level players, right? And so they are all kind of like, they've played together, they know each other, all of that. Also, I think that if you're a foreign player, right, if you're somebody who plays for France or something like that, the country thing is more important to you than if you're an NBA player, because
That's the
you
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think
because
also, I
these
mean, like,
guys,
um
but your NBA guys also don't speak the same language. I mean, one guy's from Brooklyn, one guy's from Phoenix, one guy from Milwaukee, but they're all different freaking languages. It's damn
well, yeah,
tough.
I mean, like they
Okay,
speak
don't
this.
answer.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
go on.
like, yeah, I think I should just let that go, right? Yeah, no, but I
Yeah.
think that the thing is that when you're from a country which is not where you are making progress in basketball, right? So if you're France, or if you are Australia, or if you are Nigeria, or if you are Canada, or if you're one of these countries where you had no chance earlier, right? But now all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're getting better and better. Then the national team performance takes on more of an importance than it does in the US. In the US, the only time that anybody gives a shit about the
That's for
national team
sure.
is
That's
when
for
they
sure.
lose. They don't
Correct.
care when they win. They only care when they lose.
Yeah, but it's just that we all had this from the Harlem Globetrotter days that the kind of standard of internal basketball, with his domestic and internal, of America is another level. And that, all the other countries would not even come into the picture. But now slowly it seems that
It's,
there are quite a few who can take them on for whatever the other reasons are in terms of
if you're
America's
looking at the top 10 players in the NBA, I would think that at least three or four would be
foreign.
non-American right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, at least these three for sure. I'd have to go through a list of some top tens to kind of check,
Okay.
but at least three offhand are coming to mind immediately that are not American. Giannis.
Giannis, you forgot Giannis,
I forgot
MVP.
Giannis. Yeah.
Okay,
So at least 4 out of
MVP.
10.
Yeah,
Are there any Indians in the NBA right
no,
now?
there
There,
was one who's been dropped. Oh,
yeah. There are a
Oh yeah.
couple who are in the G League, what's called the G League, which is like,
yeah,
the minor league team, but
Okay.
not yet. But it's getting
All right.
better. Indian basketball is also getting better.
All right.
we'll see.
Uh,
I
so
blame the government. Let's move on. Next question.
okay. Next, we have a couple of cop stories which are very interesting. This first one comes in from Kachin Shetty. He says, "True story. I was once hailed by a traffic cop for lane cutting. While pleading my innocence, I said I was late for a show. His mood changed. He claimed to have seen me on TV. Nonsense. Then he made me sign the 50 rupee note I had given him as a bribe and left let me off with a smile. So somewhere out there is a 50 rupee note which has my signature on it. That's how it was. It's funny. That is funny.
Yeah,
And
but to be honest, when they recognize you, I think if they recognize you and they're not sure who you are, which happens with me a lot, they're even nicer because they have a sense of empowerment also with that. As against if you're Shah Rukh Khan and then they just have to, sort of pow padu. So I think if they sort of recognize you, it's your best position. That's when you're like the everyman guy with them and you'll chat and have a. So there have been good stories also. I should try and remember them. I've had some good moments. So I would do an Amit here and say it's not like everybody and every moment with the police has been bad. I just think in the lockdown they've been terrible. They've just not exercised the right to be nicer because they should have realized the population is needing perhaps more love, stern love, firm love if you want, but definitely not the stick. Although the stick was just the last recourse. There's no need for the stick. And in this case, on a Saturday night, a bored kid, not kid, I mean, you're almost 60 now, but you're going out for your drive or whatever, it's not really a big issue. They should make it a big issue. They should just tell him, go back home, at best, and end the matter. Just unnecessary. But we should get a cop on the show and
Yeah.
po- possibly a cop in another city so that they can't take action against us. Um, and
oh, there
maybe
is
we
a
should.
great. Sorry, since you like true crime shows, right? There are like 4 new true crime shows which has been true crime shows which have been basically ordered by Netflix. One of them is talking to Bangalore police officers about the crazy stuff that they've seen in their lives, like in their career, their crime
Ah,
scenes and
nice.
all.
Interesting.
That'd be damn interesting. Yeah. There's
That
another
will
one
be
coming up
nice.
about the Burari deaths. I don't know if you guys remember the Burari deaths in 2017 about a
No,
family
remind us.
who, so there was a one fine day, a
Mass
neighbor
suicide.
goes into the house, mass suicide. Some
Yeah,
11
yeah,
members of the
yeah,
family
yeah,
have,
yeah, 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 yeah.
they believed in the occult in Delhi.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Burari
In
area was
Gurgaon, it happened.
Oh,
No,
fascinating.
if I,
wow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they all believed in the occult, and all of them committed like mass suicide. And the 70-year-old 90-year-old grandmother was found strangled in bed, and the other members, 10 members, were found hanging in the house. That's crazy. Wow.
Weird.
Yeah. Anyway, the next one comes in from
Okay.
Jainil Bain. He has another cop story. He says, "True story. I was beaten by cops at the age of 20 when I was out with a drunk friend looking for alcohol at Warsaw at 2 in night." This is
Where are you getting
yes.
alcohol at 2 at night? I
No,
mean,
come on,
like,
come on,
There
Amit.
used to be places. There used to be places
Amit,
no,
back
the
in the day.
I mean,
The
like,
theaters and all would be open like really
Aunties
late.
in Bandra would be open late night. You go to the back
no,
door
no,
and you
but
tap it and all that.
Yeah.
There were these
Yeah.
sorry,
places, right?
no,
Yeah.
no. I know these places as well. I'm saying, where are you going looking? You need to know where to go, no?
No, but
Oh,
when you're desperate, you also don't need to know. So you just keep trying. They say, try
Do
this
you
place, try
really?
that place.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on, you've never been out with the boys where you run out of alcohol. You just keep trying. I'm not taking their side, but that part of it is very believable. The other part is why did they start hitting them? Unless the drunk friend was misbehaving physically, like breaking things or whatever, and then they just got out of control. But that's a bit sad. I hope Jalnil has recovered. If he can send us a fresh picture of what his wounds were after that severe beating. I once got punched by a cop with his thumb inside his hand, and in my drunken stupor, I was telling him, "Ki ye mat karo, aapka ungli toot jayega." I was trying to explain to him that you can't box like this, and that I mean, this basic ABC of fighting. I mean, he should know he can't do that. He just put his thumb in and then just blame me. I'll have to face the
I,
court again because he breaks thumb by bad martial art exponent performance. Yeah.
you need to protect the cop from himself. I hear you.
Yes, we do. Or maybe we should all carry costumes. One of our guys should be a cop. So the moment the cops show up, the one cop from the car says, "Oh, मैं तो है, मैं आ गया, मैं हूँ इधर." And you got your own in-house cop. It's a bit like having the designated driver. It's the same concept. You have a designated cop. He's taking care of business. Yeah. But
We can do that.
Nakabandis only started, guys, Probably about 15, 20 years ago, because my in the 90s drinking, I don't remember any cops stopping us much, except when fights broke out and all, and people were called to parties to stop the music and those kind of things. But otherwise, this nakabandi phenomenon is in the last 10, 15 years. What do you think,
Hmm.
Amit? Where you have
I,
to study?
I feel like it started in like the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, but yeah, in the last 20 years or so. I know that Nakabandis were an issue in the sense that I remember when we first started getting SMSs, some of the first SMSs I would get from people is, "Hey, don't go from this road. There's a Nakabandi,"
Yeah.
because you
Hmm.
didn't realize the importance of not drinking and driving. And I mean,
But
like we've
for
been through
the
that many times, right?
But to boost commerce, why didn't they allow nakabandis to serve alcohol? I thought that would be a great idea. I mean, you really make money because the hardcore alcoholic is passing you. He would
That
pay
is true.
top dollar. I mean, I just think they should just have an option. Like, okay, you're drunk, you're going in anyway, have a drink first. Here, what would you like? Uh, I just think we're not
Oh
looking at this
man,
correctly from all sides.
I have a
Young
story, but
Silvery,
I'm not gonna
say, say,
share it.
say. Is it controversial?
It is highly controversial.
Okay, come on, water
Uh,
it down and tell us.
okay, all right. So basically, friends of mine, this was in Delhi. They had gone for a Delhi trip. I wasn't there on this trip, so actually, you know what? I can say it fairly clearly, right? Because I don't have to name names. I wasn't there on this trip. They had gone to Delhi, and they went to one of those dhabas that, like, you cross the border and you go to a dhaba kind of thing because alcohol is cheaper or whatever. They went to one of those dhabas. They wound up sitting with a cop, and they wound up buying like hash off the cop.
Of a
So
cop.
off a cop.
Okay. Wow.
Well, it's not impossible to imagine that
Yeah.
you're doing a side business. If you leave the morality out of the situation, he's an enterprising guy. You're
Yeah.
working one job. Why can you work two? We all want to work two or three. I land up doing whatever gigs that come my way, etc. It's the same thing. You're not
Yeah.
focusing on one job. You're always happy to look at the second and third option. So leaving morality aside, he's
And
enterprising.
yeah, and cop is probably reselling if you think about it. Could possibly he probably just confiscated
Or
off someone. Maybe he's
That's even
reselling.
more enterprising because he's
that
not
Yeah,
is
got
there.
inventory.
that's like
There's
free
no
money.
There's
Yeah,
no
inventory.
cost
He's
price.
getting
Yeah.
yeah,
he's
yeah.
yeah. I mean, so he's just going up and up in my esteem. There's no bad side to this story. Bad side is that we don't have Delhi cops in Mumbai, who, by the way, are even more aggressive
I don't
and
think
badly
these were
behaved.
Delhi cops. I think these were Haryana cops. Maybe
Oh,
I think
that's
these
the
are.
very best that India
Yeah.
has to offer. You can't go higher than that. You have no idea. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Yeah. It
right.
was a
One
weird
final, and then
story
we'll
to
end.
hear for a long time. Yeah. 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 Go ahead, please.
One final, and then we'll end. Rahul Chaudhary asks, Hardik Pandya got roasted on Twitter after yesterday's performance. Cyrus, do you also find him overrated?
No, but he's definitely going through a not bad phase. Only three games, white ball games, six white ball games in total. It'll be at the end of it. So unfortunately, he's for the first time there's a proper dip in form, and he's been out of the team because of injury. So what these guys have to remember with all their talent is that whatever is right now may not be there tomorrow. You've got to understand that. I think they're just laid back and taking it easy because there's so much competition in India for spaces and spots that I can just see Hardik being dropped. Quite frankly, and you have to sort of reinvent himself. And a year and a half back, you would not think that he would be the player of all three forms, possibly. And India's solution to everything in cricket because bat, bowl, field, and just that X factor guy. And he's a great talent. There's no doubt about that. But it's a bit sad. So I'm going to
Do you
talk to the
think?
boys later. Yeah.
Do you think we're overcritical on lack of form?
No, we're not. It's just the way it is. It's maths now because there's just so much more cricket. So you have to perform. If you don't perform, what am I supposed to do? If I'm a selector, what am I supposed to do? You give people so many chances, and then you got to be clinical. You can't just tell me, but there's a greater talent and all that. I mean, that's one way of thinking, but at the end of the day, it's not fair. There's one more school of thought, which is Krunal, the brother. He's grown in the last year or two, and with his growth, Hardik has fallen. Now there could be they love each other. They're great brothers and all, but sometimes they are. These things happen. I don't karmic or bhaicharia reverse or whatever it is. I don't know, but it's almost ridiculous that Krunal has gone up and Hardik has gone down in terms of performance. So I don't know if there's something there. But as a Manmohan Desai lover and three brothers in a hospital sharing blood and all that, anything's possible. We grew up on all kinds of stories. Yeah, but I think in India, Indian cricket especially, and Indian politics, you're going to have to now perform for your party in that case, not for the people, and for the team in this case. Or that's the way it is because the market is
Yeah.
such. What are you going to do?
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. I don't disagree. I also do feel though sometimes. there is an assumption, or not assumption, right, but an attitude that the other team, that basically India controls everything, and that basically if our players are not playing well, the other team had nothing to do with it.
That's yeah. I didn't think of that. Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, that is almost what is xenophobic. I don't know. Yeah, that is there. Also, maybe he relaxed because it's the Sri Lankan team, which is not very strong. They're ranked almost second last in the international list, struggling to make that under 20 World Cup in the full format. So it's possible that he relaxed because it wasn't a better opposition. But I do think he's been out of bowling for a little while. We've had no cricket for 2 years, half an IPL, this, that, and the other, and it's affected him in some way or form. But there's so many people in that middle order. We've got Washington Sundar. We've got like 5 or 6 Jadeja. We've got so many people who can bat between 6, 7 and bowl as well, both spin and seam. So he's got to watch it. Silvery, you tell Hardik from
Yeah.
me. He's got to watch it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if you don't perform, you're out. What can we do?
Absolutely. I'll
Simple.
give him a call right after this. I'll do
Yep. Yep.
just to talk him straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think final?
Yeah, high from my side.
How great do you think two teams would be if we had two teams, two Indian teams?
We have two teams at the moment.
We have two
Two teams.
male-
One red ball team is gone there, and one white ball team is gone here. And there are many who could be in both teams. So it's not exactly A
Yeah,
squad and
that's
B
good.
squad. It's just like you've got like 30 good cricketers and you divided them almost with, let's say, 10 or
great.
12 who can go in both. So we do have India playing against India would be a great match, frankly.
Actually,
That's
yeah,
what the
that would be a
IPL has
great
done
match.
well. The IPL has done so well because we've got so much talent, especially in white ball cricket.
Hmm.
So yeah. But look at Hardik, yeah. 2 years back, it was unthinkable to drop him. And right now, he's going to struggle to make the 11. He's got 1 or 2 games left here in Sri Lanka. Doesn't do much. That's it. They will drop him for a while, which means he may not even play the under 20 World Cup, the T20 World Cup in October. Subject, of course, to the IPL and all that. I mean, there's a chance, which was unthinkable. Silvery,
Yeah.
that means we could make the middle order at our age. I was, by the way, an all rounder. I don't want to brag, but in my day, I could, nip the ball from middle to off, take the edge of the right hander's bat, and then within 2 hours come back with my pads on and 25 ball 50 and the game's over. I don't want to toot my own horn, blow my own trumpet, that kind of thing. So Amit, have a good trip.
Yes, I
For
will.
folks watching, Amit is going to America. He's been called by Biden. A couple of things. Healthcare, Obamacare has reared its ugly head again, and Amit is there to solve it.
Podcasting conference.
What? Is that what the visa officer
why
was
I'm
told?
going.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
Pod-
going for a podcasting conference.
which you could have done on Zoom, but for some reason you're going all the way there. All right, but
I'm
have a
going
good
to meet
time.
the people, man.
Yeah. No. Listen, if I could get out, Siri, wouldn't you get out if you could get out just for a break?
Yeah,
Because of this
absolutely.
2-year lockdown. I went to
Yeah,
Cal for
I've
2
heard.
days. I just felt like
Yeah.
therapeutic about it. Just
Yeah.
get out for a little while.
Also, I'm going first to DC where my brother is, and over there, apparently, things are quite open and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to kind of going out in the world. Maybe go to a restaurant or two on a Sunday.
Nice.
After 4?
So good.
What's that
After
like?
4. Yeah, I
Wow.
know.
Tell
Maybe
us.
have dinner.
Write an essay. Send pictures. Nightlife. People dressed up and stuff. Wow, that'd be great. Yeah. Share that with Mumbaikars. Well, it'll be in a museum here if you want to watch people at tea. Okay. All right, guys. It's time for me
Thank
to
you.
watch what's happening on that Pornhub versus Great Masterpieces, that battle royale. I don't know, it could go either way. 50-50 here. I don't know who's going to win. Okay. Good
Right.
night.
Thank you.